They folks on YouTube, new video, just showing we're here with Core. You should be able to see the Discord screen share now. He is drawing up battle plans because he just experienced one of the 3 civil wars that Mexico can experience. This one with a warlord in the northeast, the strongman of Luis Paulo, which is the guy's capital, and he could actually rush that very quickly if he wanted. He's drawing up battle plans. So Core, you can hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just as a mental organizational tool, why is it the screen really does not, hold on. There we go. It's an issue with Windows trying to overlap each other. Just as a mental organizational tool, if you select different groups of divisions, or you can even do it with the same one, and draw multiple offensive lines along each part of the front, then you can figure out where you're going to put divisions on the front and how many are already assigned. So you can click the offensive line thing again. And this is a little trick. Sorry, the front line. I said offensive. I meant to say front. Sorry. And then you can right click other parts of the area that don't have line on it, along it. Green areas are areas you control. And so right click there and drag down 3 and you'll create another micro front. And then release. And then you can do it again further north. There in those 2 provinces. And again in the south, there's also 2 provinces that you don't have so now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 microfronts, I think it is. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yep, 5. So you could. This is an easy tool to mentally organize. Now, if you just figure out which divisions you want on which part of the microfront, and they're so far away, you can just go off the list. So I would suggest doing this counterclockwise. So if you start in the far north, how many divisions do you want there?
4.
That's 2 provinces.
Here?
Do you just want to hold the line there, or do you want to try and push there? In mind, you can't push in many places at once. But
I see what you're getting at. Okay.
So how many divisions do you want in those 2 desert provinces in the far north?
For the far north?
Yeah. How many?
We're gonna have only 16 divisions available.
Yeah, you have 16 divisions to divide among 5 microfronts that comprise 10 provinces. Or sorry, 13 provinces. Did I say 10? I think I said 10. I think it's 13. I'll count it up myself in for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it is 10. 16 divisions, 10 provinces. So you can double up divisions in some places. Other places, you might just have 1 division, but you do need to probably cover the entire front.
I'll grab 2 defense, 1 offense for here. For this front.
Well, so if you want to assign, you have 3 offensive divisions, 13 defensive divisions. So you only have 3 places you can put an offensive division, just so you know. Personally, I would recommend attacking the south because it's right next to your capital, and near Leon, taking his capital very quickly, because you can capture that state in the south just by taking that 1 victory point. San Luis Potosi.
Yeah.
You take that victory point, it's worth 10 victory points. It won't make him surrender on its own, but it'll definitely start to shift the civil war in your favor. So I would personally recommend putting at least 1 offensive division there near Leon. You also don't want them pushing south to Mexico City, which is south of that. You probably want 1 in the area to the northwest of it, because those mountains are very difficult terrain, and you want to be able to reinforce if it goes belly. And I would probably put the other one on the far east part of your line, because those forests are actually very easy to push through. you could push all the way up along the Gulf Coast without too much trouble, because none of that's difficult terrain. Or you could gather like all 3 of your defensive divisions and just make a push up the coast and then swing west. There's different ways to do this, although I don't think you have enough divisions to hold the rear if you do that. The divisions would just get encircled probably, but you could try. You could certainly establish flanking or something, or try and cut off their capital from everything else. In fact, yeah, that might be your smartest move, is to cut off San Luis Potosi from the rest of everything else. Then the divisions there will be encircled, and then they won't be able to resupply anything, which will make all their divisions move slower. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. If you don't mind, one thing I can do, this will make this easier and quicker for you, is if I just save the thing. If I exit and rehost, and then we can play cooperatively both as Mexico for a couple minutes, and I'll save and go back to playing as the U.S. before we even unpause. I can show you what I'm talking about with battle plans. If you don't like it, you don't have to go with it, but it's probably easier to show than tell. Are you okay with that?
I'm thinking.
I was just going to try and give you the bones of a plan.
Okay. I say run brigades through Lee's Free, and then we grab the free division, put one offense here, one offense here, one offense here. We make these guys go down, make these guys go up, and circle them, take them out, and then just rush up from there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking myself.
This looks like a
It's a rail junction, it's a victory point, it's a supply hub. Monterey is very important. But so are the victory points east of it. The key points are the victory points. They're all well labeled. If you take all the victory points, you win. Like, none of that desert in the far north has any people or industry or anything worth controlling. The things that are worth controlling are Monterey, San Luis Potosi, and the 2 victory points east of Monterey. You take those, you win. Sorry. In fact, you take that, you win, even if they control some of your victory points. So, yeah, if you're cool with me quitting rehosting this, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Are you
there? I say I'm gonna
core. So I can show you. I just want you're okay with it, because the game would technically end for a second and then you'd rejoin. I don't know how to switch over any other way to co-op mode. You'll see this. I don't think many people have seen this, so this is a treat for the people on YouTube too. Cooperative gameplay mode. Here, let me just I'll exit to menu, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yep. And if you just quit, I already saved it. And I'm going to rehost it. I'm going to turn on I had cooperative mode on. I'm just going to make sure that the switch is flipped again. Alright. Hosting again. I'm loading up the save that I took while it was paused there, so nothing has happened. Hot join and cooperative. Cool. And now if you just load it up, and we can both play Mexico technically. I can just... I'll show you because I played this game an ungodly number of hours, so I can probably draw this up pretty quick. It's also easier than looking at the Discord stream because I can look at the same game stream and it should be less laggy. The audio quality should go up. The video quality might even go up. For the recording, at least. When the button in the bottom right says ready, if you click it, it'll, yeah, it's just loading the save. I think you should be able to say ready, click ready at this point. It's telling me that you've already got the thing loaded. Oh, yeah, you just have to, there you go. Cool. Cooperative vote is on. Here we go. Alright, now we're both technically playing Mexico, so I can show you some of what I was, you can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see my cursor, but, generally a good thing I find when doing something like this is always you're going to need divisions to hold the rear if you're making a push. So you can start off just assigning at least a couple divisions just so all the territory is defended, right? So you'll notice I assigned 2 divisions to the far east. These guys can hold the rear when you attack with your better... You said you wanted to put an offensive division there. Let's see, there's 3 of them. One of them is still green. So if you're going to push probably the 2nd and the presidential divisions, right? Oh, it looks like the junta already has a division there, so
Oh, for some reason I can see the junta now. Like, fully where all their troops are.
yeah, it gets weird with the reload sometimes.
Okay, so they have a cavalry. Okay, so basically all their units are split out in 1 divisions across pretty much almost every single province. Mainly the far upper ones, or where most of their troops lay. Their main 2 divisions, well, it looks like one is already at the capital. Well, at their capital, San Luis.
This is weird. We
One's
shouldn't
just
actually
to the
be able to
right.
see where all the divisions are. I don't know why it's showing it now that come to think of it.
There's one in the middle. There are 2 over here, right at the cities, moving downward. That one's moving right. Okay, so what they plan to do is push outward from what it looks like, because they
Well, their
are...
divisions are just in their starting location. They haven't moved anything to the front yet, so there's actually no telling what they'll do yet. You can get a little bit of a clue from the direction they're marching. Like the guys in Monterey are marching to the border, but all that tells is...
They're moving straight over there to Durango.
Yeah, they're gonna try and...
Yeah, so their main goal is to try and take upper, I think, and then push downward.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need to care if they push west. If you take all their victory points behind them, they can literally just sit on nothing. However, it might be good to delay them. After seeing where these divisions
It
are...
would be good to delay It would be good to delay them here and then push up from behind.
Instead of trying to hold every inch of ground, you see how there's a river running by Chihuahua? Especially because they're going to march into that desert. The desert is worthless. It's not even good defensive terrain.
Junction.
So what I was going to say is, right, the river is useless terrain. However, if you do a fallback line along the river here, you see how there's a fallback line that just appeared, Chihuahua?
Yeah.
That is a strong defensive line. Two of the provinces are mountains, which are good, easy terrain to defend. One of them is a desert, but it has a river. And the enemy is going to take those deserts before anyone can arrive here anyways, so it's useless trying to draw an offensive line that far north. It's going to take time for divisions to arrive. They can probably, with the cavalry, they can march into the desert in like 2 or 3 days. It'll take a little while for defenders to arrive.
Yeah.
And this
The
defends
good
the rail line, too. Like, divisions can ride the railroad right to Chihuahua, and then they can march north from Chihuahua. So that's right. And then everywhere else, the front line is generally a pretty good.
the good thing is that down here in the southeastern area where all of our troops are currently where all the troops are currently being held, all the divisions.
Well, in the south, they only have 2 divisions. One in San Luis Potosi, and one, and it's looks like it's only a brigade
That's
de
why
infantry. So it's
what
actually
what I was thinking was for the offense and defense, I say we put we put 3 offenses, one right here, one right here, and one right here. And then for our main defenses, well, for our main defenders, the 13 brigades,
I
I
can't
definitely
see
plan on
what you're.
I
Hold on. Yeah, your stream is
okay.
not streaming very well. Oh, there we go. You see how I drew that arrow, right?
Okay, this is what I was planning. We take our 3 offenses, put one here, here, and here, and
That's
then
gonna spread
4.
them way the heck out. I just realized so that jungle. So I was trying to
Yeah,
say
but
is
we off defenders too.
you
We're
what?
gonna have yeah, we're gonna have defenders throughout these provinces, and then once they start taking that desert area, we'll also have one for that.
Yeah, but I was to say you don't necessarily want to get drawn down out into like a long trench warfare kind of situation. If you concentrate all 3 of your offensive divisions in the south, you can encircle their capital, and then once their capital is encircled, it cuts off supply to all their other divisions. So their divisions will be out of supply, which means they fight poorly and they move slower. That will cripple their army. Then you can push north and take Monterey and stuff, and you don't need to worry about San Luis. You don't ever have to take it until the end. All their other divisions will be crippled, and you can just deal with other divisions and then take San Luis once you've taken the other 3 victory points. Or if you would manage to encircle a couple divisions in San Luis, you could crush it, but then they would move their capital north, and they would reestablish supply lines. You get what I'm saying? Like they would move their capital to Monterey if you took San Luis. But if you encircle it,
encircle their capital, but don't take it, and then just move up, take right.
Here, let me show you what I was thinking with front front lines here. That's no. Right. So if you do something like this, and you'll notice none of the arrows go through San Luis itself. And you have divisions go up into Monterey and encircle San Luis, and then the defensive divisions can hold their area around San Luis because that's all jungle and mountain terrain. That will take 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of these provinces you have to defend anyways. 5, 6. It'll take 7 divisions to completely encircle San Luis, but some of these are areas you need defenders regardless. That's a lot of divisions just to encircle. But then you have your offensive divisions. Where are they going? And if you put them both in these jungles to the east of San Luis. You'll notice there's now 4 divisions assigned there.
4 divisions sign it.
And then they'll take the train to Mexico City, and then they'll march north into the plains, which is also where the enemy division is marching, I think. So they'll counterattack these guys who will probably make it to the plain. Oh no, 4 days they'll get there ahead of them. So they'll fend off this division north of Mexico City. Then they push north through the jungle, which is actually pretty rough terrain to take, but so are mountains, unfortunately. Mexico is all mountains and jungles in this area. It's where the Aztecs were historically. And then you got the divisions here, and they are just more of a... They might... Hold on. Front line. Offensive. And their job is more to assist the push to Monterrey. In fact, I'll actually make this clear. That's not at all clear. Yeah. Because if you take Monterrey and you take San Luis, then you're right on the doorstep of these other 2 victory points. And you can take them in the second step plan. Hold on, there's no reason I shouldn't make a second step plan from... that didn't work correctly. This is always a little finicky. There we go. So you see how there's two offensive arrows drawn together. If you execute these plans and then hold on. Then do that. See, now there's another arrow chained. If you're looking at this northwest, like where the arrows are. Do you see all the arrows there? If you execute this plans, once you've taken that last victory point, you win. Like, end of story. It doesn't matter if they march some of their divisions west, if they take Chihuahua eventually. None of that matters. They lose these victory points, they surrender. And this will cripple, once you've surrounded San Luis, then their other offensives will grind to a very slow pace. So even if they're taking territory, they'll do it very, very slowly. And that will buy you the time you need for most of your divisions to finish the push to Matamoros. Once you take Matamoros, they're done for. That's the quickest way to win this war. And
plus I have 30, and plus I have 31% war support too. So which if we go on any defensive wars, then I'm gonna have the upper hand.
I mean, 31% war support isn't much.
Yeah, but I'm still gaining more, because remember with our focus trees, well, the focus supports Spain's loyalists.
I mean, yeah, that'll get you up to 36%.
Once we enforce the Calise law and then do the
I would not suggest enforcing the Callus law. If you I looked at it. If you enforce the Callus law, you will. If you go over to the, you can't see it right now under military issues, but it will start another civil war if you enforce the Callus law. Your stability will be under 60%, and you'll be an atheist state. Weak church won't trigger a civil war, but if you reduce the Catholic Church to atheist state, and then your stability is under 60%, and I think if you're not democratic, basically, if you've run certain focuses, you could actually still be democratic. But if you've run some of the focuses you've already run, you'll suffer a second Cristeros war. The way to avoid that is to not reduce the Catholic Church any lower than weak at any given time. Weak still gives you a factory output bonus, and it doesn't hurt your stability as much as atheist state does. You're keeping the Catholic Church on the back foot, but you're never completely crushing it. besides early on, the stability penalties will hurt your political power gain, which will hurt your ability to build up your nation in various ways. Um, uh, right. Now, nobody arrives instantly, so why are they trying
Oh
to...
yeah. Also, by the way, for the future, which one should we choose? Because once we get access, well, once I get access to, well, after support Spain's loyalists, once I get access to these three,
I mean,
um,
eventually
focus.
the Bolivarian alliance will be good. You could do Hispanic alliance while you are still non-aligned, I suppose. It's technically possible, but you're going to be going communist eventually, and you would never be able to do the propaganda pack.
Argentina.
And the Bolivarian alliance will...
The thing is, um, in the very future, like, I'm talking late game, when I'm gonna be over here in South America taking out these guys, then being allies with some of those people in the Bolivian alliance, like the Argentine Republic and
Bolivarian alliance and
yeah,
Hispanic alliance both allow you to ally with all of them. The difference between the two focuses, I was just looking at them. If you go over to the focus tree again, the difference between the two focuses, Bolivarian and Hispanic alliance, and these are both create your own faction type things, which I guess that would mean is the United States that would need to join your faction. But if you even zoom in your screen a little bit so that viewers can see it more, the difference is that Bolivarian alliance weakens the Catholic Church, which is dangerous because support Spain's loyalists will turn them to weak, and so Bolivarian will reduce them to atheist state, which will cause a Cristero war. It might not look like it right now, but that's because you haven't finished the focus before it. That will update and it will say reduces to atheist state once support Spain's loyalists is done. Um, Hispanic alliance would have required you to support the nationalist side in the Spanish Civil War, so you can't run it anyways, and it would have made the Catholic Church stronger instead of
the
weaker.
only thing, yeah. So the only thing we can do is real pull.
No, you can do Bolivarian alliance eventually. You just need to keep the Catholic Church from causing a rebellion if you want to do that. So you don't want to do it right away, is what I'm saying. You took anti-establishmentarianism, so you can strengthen the Catholic Church later. You can either transfer lands to church or, well, revising the Constitution just gives you things you can do once they're already more powerful. But you can transfer lands to the church to prevent them from rebelling. All it takes is costs you is some political power to do that. So you can still run Bolivarian alliance without suffering another civil war. You just have to pace yourself. But let's see. After you finished support Spain's loyalists, it would be dangerous to try and enforce the Cowles Law or to probably you want to switch to running your industrial focuses, because so far you've been focusing on political stuff. It'll be time to start.
So after support Spain's loyalists, I would go for rural and infrastructure.
Rural infrastructure, or
Mhm.
you could do Confederation of Mexican Workers. That will get you a guy who will boost communism support and reduce your consumer goods factory factor, and then you can take rent freeze, which improve your stability.
Yeah, I could.
Or you could do rural infrastructure just, to improve your research slot earlier. So yeah, one of those, either rural infrastructure down to rural schools, or rushing rent freeze so that you can get your one of your advisor slots filled, because right now you don't have any political advisors, and there's an ambitious union boss you can take once you complete Confederation Mexican Workers, Vincent Lombardo. He's an ambitious union boss. If you go over to your political advisors, and you'll be able to take him, and he'll boost communism support, which, I mean, you're eventually flip the communists, so that's good.
Yeah.
And although that
We
in the
have
short,
Shadow Police gives political power gain, but also gets unaligned. So
yeah, you don't want that. That's if you're staying
Elusive
non-aligned.
Gentleman gives operative slots +1 and agency upgrade time
I mean, you're gonna
What
eventually need the elusive gentleman because you're gonna be doing a lot of spy stuff, and that's generally a good thing. But the ambitious union boss, the elusive gentleman, and the captain of industry.
I do have a war industrialist.
I mean, yeah, but you've got to build infrastructure before you can worry about civilian factories.
And this union boss.
Probably you should. I would say that probably you should start thinking about doing your captain of industry next. If you do the Confederation of Mexican Workers, you can grab a captain of industry and your ambitious union boss in fairly short order. And you can play the captain of industry with a war industrialist late game. It, in fact, costs the same to do that as to take an 150 political power advisor right off the bat. You could take Pani and then later switch him for Camacho. But
So which one would be better? Going down rural infrastructure to rural schools, or Confederation of the Mexican Workers and going down?
shit, you only have 2 research slots right now. I would say the rural schools first.
Rural.
Yeah,
Then that has oil field expansion, which gives four more oil in Oaxaca. Then there's you can nationalize, but what does that do? You make sure it doesn't.
Oaxaca, Veracruz, Tamaulipas, and
Oh,
Coahuila. Yeah, oil field expansion. The
hold
big
on,
thing
because
about
this
it
would
is,
be bad. No, I meant nationalize the oil field.
yeah, you
If
have
we do that, it would remove rights to the resources in Tamaulipas
what
for the United States and Coahuila. But for the United Kingdom, though, it removes the rights to Oaxaca and Veracruz.
I wouldn't worry too much about nationalizing the oil fields. Will mean some of the oil that's currently going to me, as the United States, goes to you instead. You don't really have the ability to build like a mechanized army, so that oil isn't going to benefit you as much because you just don't have the industry for it for a long time. I can build a much bigger air
Oh, I
force and
can get one of
armored.
my continuous. Hold on, I can get one of my continuous focuses.
I mean, you can always run those, but they're not very good. They're usually not recommended until you've run out of everything
This
else.
one. What about this one? Construction engineering effect.
I mean,
Infrastructure construction speed 10 air base.
those are never recommended because, like, not until you run out of everything else. They're just bad. These are not like focuses that you complete. They're focuses that take 1 political power every single day. Generally, it's not worth the political power. You wouldn't want to spend 365 political power for that bonus for a year if you put it in context. They're just bad trade-offs. Nobody runs those usually. They're garbage. It's almost better not to run any focuses and just collect political power most of the time. Sometimes people do tech sharing if they're in a really large faction, or resistance suppression if they're suffering really high resistance, but continuous focuses are almost never worthwhile. But nationalizing the oil fields can also risk that the United Kingdom might decide to invade you. If you take Royal Dutch Shell instead, it expands the oil fields in Coahuila, and you still regain the resource rights in Coahuila. So you will get more oil, like, back, which is more than enough for any like industrialized, Air Force, Navy, that kind of stuff that you might need. and it allows you to, you probably don't want to do community of nations, but you can do oil revenue reinvestment and capital reserve still.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to do a resource exchange with the Nazis. You don't need the communist support from the thing below, opposing anti-imperialism. You can already send volunteer forces because of a different focus. Yeah. International peacekeepers is very much the democracy path. Interior defense plan is about fortifying your border with the United States against me, your ally, so that's not useful. Yeah, you're probably better off with Royal Dutch Shell. And
well, once I do oil field expansion, then I can also do 3 things. I can either pretty much just about make an alliance with the UK, the United States, the USSR, or Germany.
well, there's lots of ways to get an alliance with me. I can create my own faction and invite you into it. You can create your faction and invite me into your faction, which you can do from Bolivarian Alliance. Um, like, you could always ask to join the Soviet faction, just ask, and they'll say yes if you're also communist. There's relatively little reason. These focuses are more about guiding AI behavior and predicting what the AI is going to do. And the communism support is nice, as is the diplomacy bonus with the Soviets. But the main thing is if you do Royal Dutch Shell, well, forget the Royal Dutch Shell. If you do oil field expansion, you can do the northern steel plants, which gives you extra factories, and then engineering schools, and then television innovators. That's the real reason to go that path. And if the United States was not controlled by a friendly, ideologically friendly nation, remember I'm going communist as well, then you might take interior defense plan to fortify your border with the United States in case you come under attack from the north. You don't need to worry about interior defense plan. You probably do want coastal defense plan because that will protect you against naval invasions, say from the Nazis, and then march southwards. But you don't need the interior defense plan at all. What you do need is your military budget review and your naval yards, your rural schools, your worker militias. The Party of the Revolution is a way to flip communists without a civil war. It's really and it actually gives your leader a really nice trait. If you do communist revolution, you just get, I don't know what the leader trait is, but if you do Party of the Revolution, Cardenas becomes the leader, and he's got the Protector of the Campesinos, which gives infrastructure and civilian infrastructure build speed. So,
I also, other than
Hernan Laborde would be the leader if otherwise. I'm not sure what his traits are. I could look it up later. Whether you do, but the big thing about that is that lets you flip communist without a revolution. The other way to flip communist without a revolution is to just wait for an election to occur and have a majority communist support. You lose a little stability that path. You won't gain the war support or the communism support of taking that focus, and you'll get whoever Laborde is, whatever his traits are. I would suggest Party of the Revolution eventually to flip without a civil war. But your rural schools are really important. Tech slots are extremely valuable, and you only have 2, which is a pitifully small number. You can get your 3rd from rural schools. You can get your 4th from television innovators. And you can get your 5th from state education.
What would be the best option, though, after support Spain's loyalists?
Rural infrastructure, and then run towards rural schools. That or Confederation of Mexican Workers, and run towards rent freeze, and then go to rural schools. The question is whether you want to
do them both. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yes.
So.
The question is only what you want to do first. Do you want to do rural schools first or rent freeze first?
I'd say rural schools first because
you're falling behind in tech right now with only 2 slots. That's what I would suggest. the tech slots will enable you to eventually get techs to have a proper navy, to have a proper air force, to start actually manufacturing tanks of your own. You need tech slots to do these things. With only 2 tech slots, you're going to struggle just to get your industry focuses. I mean, your industry techs. So yeah, I would suggest getting rural schools, then doing a rent freeze. After that, maybe oil field expansion.
Oh, actually, I could get 4 research slots if I do liberalize the
The banking
banking
sector?
sector.
No, you can't. That's the right-wing economic path. You've already locked yourself out of that by going on the left-wing path, which leads to turning communist. The Ejercito worker militias are really good if you hover over that focus. The one that's above Party of the Revolution. 2 down and 1 to the left. There. That gives you 2% recruitable population, which is massive. That's, if you were running service by requirement, that would raise you to 12%, would be an extra 20%. If you're running service by requirement and total mobilization, which is Mexico, you'll eventually be able to do since you can grind war support infinitely.
So basically, 20% of my population
Well,
would be.
it's a 2%. It's 2% of your population, but like an example, you might normally only have access to 7% of your population if you're in total mobilization, or if you're all adults serve and total mobilization, you might have access to at most 17% of your population. This would raise it to 19%. So this would be somewhere between more than almost. This would be somewhere between like a 28% increase in the size of your army and a 16% increase in size in army or something like that. It's a big increase in how many troops you can field. The worker militias are an excellent focus, and you wouldn't have been able to do it if you liberalized the banking sector. You would have been locked out of, you either have to choose the left or the right side economic paths. You would have done the Caudillo private armies instead.
Rural school. Well, let's go rural school first, because if I'm falling behind in tech, then
Yes.
having our divisions won't mean shit, because they're just going to be using rocks and stones to other people.
Yeah, you're going to be fighting in Latin America, so your opponents are also going to be using. It's just going to be mostly infantry wars. The thing is you're under-equipped, so are the other guys. And if you but yes, I would suggest rural schools first. The big thing is when you get the technology for trucks, which I don't think you get a research boost. No, you don't. Once you've teched trucks, you'll be able to form motorized divisions. And with motorized divisions, I'd be able to lend lease you a bunch of trucks once I gain access to lend lease. And with motorized divisions, you can just roll right over most of the Latin American. You don't need tanks. Even just trucks will be enough to give you a massive advantage. Trucks and artillery. Motorized with some motorized artillery added. They're fast moving. They're cheap. You may mix in a few light tanks as well. You can have some excellent divisions that are fairly cheap that for the rough terrain of like jungles and mountains you'd be fighting through, where heavier tanks don't work well because it's mountainous, it's muddy, there's jungles everywhere. Motorized troops and mechanized eventually. I'll be able to get you these because you got the United States to hand you all sorts of high-tech snazzy stuff. You need to build up your industry, and yes, you need your tech. So the Confederation of Mexican Workers will emphasize industry a bit more, whereas the rural schools will still build up your industry from the rural infrastructure, but it'll also build up your tech. Yeah, but I would suggest the rural schools. You can do either, and I'll be able to lend lease you some high-tech equipment, but if producing your own still may eventually be useful.
Yeah,
Once you've
awesome.
conquered
I'm
Central
on mute
America.
because I'm eating.
What?
I'm on mute because I'm eating, by the way. But yeah, okay. So just go down rural schools first,
I mean, I'd recommend
and
it.
then
You can do whatever you want. But
and then right after rural schools, go down Confederation of Mexican Workers.
hold on, I'm putting some divisions. Yeah, I'm telling divisions to go protect the northeast for you, so that the northwest part of the front. I'm just making sure that there's men deployed everywhere on the front, so that geez, these guys are they're offensive division, but they're well. This is a critical victory point. So you wanted to send someone here, and that's probably not a terrible idea. Where are these guys assigned? The 4th Brigade is assigned here already. Cool. Let's see. It's not showing anyone. 6th Brigade. 7th Brigade. The 1st Brigade. Alright, so I'm just making sure there aren't any actual gaps in your line. And this leaves you with 3 extra guys. Got more than enough for that push. This is going to be hard to push. Yeah, I'm just kind of sticking people around, and you're going to want rigid cohesion. Flexible cohesion is the worst. Yeah, it has divisions constantly trying to move across the line wherever they feel like going. There we go. Curious. Yep. You have your admiral, your good one assigned. And you got to keep both of them. Neither of them defected. Still there, Core?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I went and told divisions places to go. If you look, you'll see 3 divisions up near Chihuahua. Those are all brigades assigned there. 1 to each of the 3 provinces, so they'll just your divisions will rush there and then just dig in and try and hold the line until the rest of your offensive hopefully wins the war, or you decide to just pull them because you need the men for the offensive elsewhere. Maybe, I don't know. I put 5 in the area near Durango. That puts 2 on the north and south bit of it, and 3 in the center. That's so that if you potentially do want to make a little bit of a push there. I think the AI will try and redeploy divisions if you do that, though. And this isn't enough to push Agu. Shoot. There we go. You know what? 7th Brigade can go to here. Alright, actually, yeah, the AI might try and I put 4 in the next area south, though. 2 in the center area. If either one of the other battles are being lost, you can potentially send 1 brigade to reinforce the battle that's being lost. Just to delay the enemy. They might still lose, but the point is to not lose too quickly. You've got 5 divisions in the area near Leon and Agua Escalentes, Also, by the way, heavily industrialized area near Leon. That's your capital state. Well, actually, you wouldn't lose it till you lose Mexico City, but still. In fact, the only industry of any significance in any of this is Durango has a dockyard and Jalisco has a single civilian factory. But whatever, you're not in danger of losing factories, but you still don't want to lose victory points in the supply that comes with them. They always provide a little local supply. So yeah, three near Chihuahua, 4 south of that. That's just to hold the line. And then the remaining 9 divisions are all in the south, including your 3 best actual divisions instead of brigades. And oh yeah, you probably want to re-enable equipment on your infantry brigade. I did that. I'll in fact rename this so that it's more clear what this is. Since when I call it infantry brigade, there we go. This capitalization is bothering me. Cool. That's me being OCD, and you can change that back if you want. But this is a workable plan if you want to go with it. It could go haywire if the AI decides to concentrate a whole bunch of divisions in the wrong place. A lot will depend on where the enemy decides to concentrate their men. But this will give you a solid 5 divisions, 4 brigades, and an infantry division to try and push near Aguascaliente, Leon. The proper infantry division is going to Aguascaliente. It'll just, there we go. And the other 4 are going the 4th. God, it's getting really slow. Is there a lag issue? No? Is this not updating quickly enough? You got 1 to go into Leon. 7th and 8th. Let's go there, and the 2nd and 4th to Leon. So you've got 2, 3 division. This is so the AI won't try and rebalance for you, which will eliminate all entrenchment penalties. And yeah, and then you've got your 2 infantry divisions on the plains where the enemy is trying to march into. Your stream ended, Core. Alright.
2.
Huh?
Restarted, but
You there, man?
yeah.
I was just saying that explaining how I drew up the divisions and where I sent them in ways knowing what the AI behavior is, and I was trying to explain the logic so that you get some insight from it, so that hopefully you can just run with it. Because I'm not gonna be able to just micro all this for you, but if you know what's going on, you can handle it. So
Yeah.
I was saying if you have the AI will try and rebalance parts of the front, right? You know what I mean by that. They'll try and move divisions around so that the front has equal numbers and all in one place.
Yeah.
So that's
I don't
why
think they want I don't think they want all of these guys going to just straight to San Luis and then having our troops, come around.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, like, if originally you
I
drawn
don't
one
think
front
they
along
do.
the entire, if you drawn one front line on the whole place like you originally did, then the AI would try and make sure that there's an equal number of divisions in every place in the front. And that would prevent you from actually concentrating men to do any kind of troop buildups, which is why I suggested these little microfronts. And then even within a microfront, if there's two provinces next to each other and one has 4 divisions and the other has 1, the AI will try and move one of those 4 over to the neighboring to make it 3 and 2 to make it more even. So I tried to distribute the men relatively evenly within each of the microfronts, which were drawn up in such a way that the AI wouldn't try and do this. Because if the divisions are shuffling along the front, they're not attacking, they're not digging and
Okay,
entrenching.
so good news is well, obviously we're gonna win this war, but it's gonna be easier because all of these are brigades. The only one that's not a brigade is that cavalry up in the top.
Well, both of those cavalry are 6. I mean, these were the exact things you had before, which means that they should have 1 full infantry division. One of these is a full division somewhere. Because you had
Yeah, it's at
4
the top.
full divisions. You had
That cavalry right there.
Yeah, they should have 2 cavalry divisions. I don't know where the other one is. Probably coming back from the Civil War, or maybe you're under your
Yeah.
control, but it's still coming back. Hold on. Yeah, you have 3 divisions returning from the Civil War, so that's probably the other cavalry division.
Yeah, it says 4 brigade, 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 brigade.
So this isn't all their divisions. They also have 3 more divisions returning from the Civil Wars as well. All those divisions that you sent to Spain, Italy, and Poland, they're all returning back, but you're getting like half of them and they're getting like half of them. So 3 more divisions will appear in 2 weeks and for you and 3 more for them. That includes at least 1 full infantry division for them and at least 1 cavalry division for you. It looks like you're getting 2 infantry brigades and a cavalry division, and they're getting a full infantry division and 2 brigades back from the Civil Wars. So that will shift the balance a little more in their favor in 2 weeks. If you take the initiative now while their best troops are away coming back from Spain, you probably do very well. Plus, most of your best generals stayed loyal to you. Your best field marshal.
It says that sending back 1 divisions to Mexico, which Mexico is me. It says all 3 of them are coming back
to Mexico from Italy, Poland, and Spain. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know if that would also mean like if those are if all of them are mine, or
those are all yours.
like you said, half of them are the junta.
You sent 6 divisions of his volunteers. There are 3 that it's telling you will come back on May 10th. They also get their own version of the same message. They also get 3 on May 10th. But they're different divisions. Yeah, all your people stayed loyal to you, all the important people anyways.
Yeah. Okay, I was checking on those, just want to make sure this is how these guys are doing, since we've been so focused on, well, my Civil War.
How who's doing?
The Spanish and Italian.
I mean, that'll proceed without you, and once your war is over, you'll be able to send divisions again. The one thing I don't know is if he got any of your navy. He might have.
Well, actually, I can check that.
Let's see.
No.
No.
He got no.
Because
they all stayed.
You had 5 destroyers and a coastal defense ship before, right? Yeah, you still have all your navy.
Sure.
So
actually, I could do a naval invasion support if I wanted to.
I mean, you could, but it takes a while, and then the divisions are behind enemy lines, and they can get quickly surrounded and destroyed. It's always harder to land on a shore when the enemy is machine gunning you down than it is
to no, I meant, like, oh wait, no. Hold on, I'm stupid. I meant not naval invasion, shore bombardment.
Oh yeah, you can do that. In fact, here, the way you would do that, they're trying to land in Texas. Here.
Put them somewhere near the coastline and just,
I just told them to anchor off the coast to support the anything when you're fighting in this jungle to try and surround San Luis, they can support that. And then when it's time to take Matamoros, you can move them up 1C province, and they can support that combat as well. That will be the final battle of the Civil War, most likely. So,
And plus, oh yeah, also don't forget we also do have planes with air support and air superiority. Not a lot, but still, just a little bit to help in
yeah,
our favor too.
yeah, they don't
So
have
don't
any air
forget.
bases, so you'll get a little bit of extra air superiority. All right,
Yeah, and naval invasion support
so I was gonna switch
along.
back to the U.S. now, like to exit the game and go back to playing as the United States. If you're good, I think.
Yep, should be good. There's nothing more we can do now, unless you want to pre-plan any more things.
Yeah. No. Looks like you're getting another delivery of rifles from me in 22 days. By the way, just over 3 weeks.
Yeah, so yeah, it's basically just extra supply right there on the spot too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm looking at your logistics fulfillment because you were talking about that before.
Yeah, that's
Shiza, you don't have any trains. None. You have trucks, but you have absolutely no trains. Oh, that's gonna be brutal. You actually have a lot of local supply. That's like all your supply. It's all local.
oh, um, oh goddamn.
What?
Hold on, hold on. Mm,
What are you doing here? Are you looking for train technology? I wouldn't.
Yes.
I wouldn't bother researching train technology. I can sell you or
Mm,
lend lease you trains.
Yeah, that's why I have no trains. I completely forgot about the
I,
research civilian
I
trains.
mean, forget about it. You didn't have the tech slots available. Don't worry about it. You can buy them from me. I'll put some trains on the market. In fact, actually, I think I already put some trains on the market, so you might already be able to just buy some. Yep, Pennsylvania class. I'll lower the price in those, and you can buy 12 Pennsylvania class for me for less than I'm currently selling them. I'll give you a discount. All right, that's a good.
Yeah,
Yeah, so if I given them you earlier, then some of them would have gone to the other side in the Civil War. I'll give you a dozen trains, and that should fulfill your logistics supply for a long time to come. In fact, actually, you only need about 8 trains. I could just give you 8, put 8 at reduced price and leave 4 higher price for the AI, maybe. Eh, no, I'll give you 12 because if you're pushing in Central America, you'll need more. What I can, we'll figure out. I'll probably reduce it to 8, and you can buy the other 4 later. There's no reason to buy more than you actually need. But anyways, yeah, I'll give you a discount on some trains in a little bit. Once I switch back over to America, the game's gonna end again. I'm gonna go back to rehosting as the United States. You will see a discount on trains in a second once I can get the thing back up. Well, you have to rejoin the game, but I will put up a discount. Um, I'm actually gonna set hot join enabled, so and start United States. So I'm already starting it, and I can set in this train thing even before in you. The heck? Oh, oops. Don't join that one. I forgot to load the save. That was January 12th. I'm like, why? Yeah, that's the wrong. That's a new game on starting on January 1st of night. You don't want to lose a whole year's progress. Hold on. I think I set the password wrong. All right. CORE host load. Boom. Yeah, I forgot to load up the right save. So don't join that. That would not be. Um, That's more like it. It's like I don't have any scientists? That doesn't sound right. Wonder if I can independently list some more expensive trains for AI. No, it's either one price for all. Yep, you should be able to join here. I got the save loaded up. Yeah, and it'll take a second for you to load the actual save.
I wonder if it's possible to turn literally the whole world communist.
Yep. You can always manually justify wars. It's not like you need to use the focus tree to conquer everything.
Oh no, I know that. I know the justifying war.
Only countries that can't conquer the entire world are democratic ones because they're prohibited from justifying wars in other democracies that haven't generated world tension. Literally any nation can conquer the world in this game, although you're going to advance into the age of nuclear weapons if you take long enough. So it's going to be like World War III, where the whole world's going to be like coated in nuclear fallout, but you can still conquer it. It's a brutal dystopian future, but it's a future, I suppose. It's feasible. You can hit ready now.
Here, let me make sure I'm.
Yeah, you're playing as Mexico.
Yeah, just want to make sure I don't accidentally click on Mexican junta. It's not like, wait, what? Mexican junta.
Mexican junta is the side that rebelled. You could play as them if you wanted. It's literally there are like things that players could do if they wanted.
Yeah. What if I just play? What if I just play as the Mexican junta? Make all of their, just like, make their, basically just remove all their battle plans and everything, and just move them to like one random area.
Disband all their divisions. Yeah, I mean you can do it.
Yeah.
It's cheating. You can do it, but I think at some point you start to break immersion. What's more interesting is sometimes like getting conquered by a nation and switching to the nation that conquered you, or like having a civil war and deciding to play as the side that the game won't even give you the option to play as.
So, I have military. Actually, we could encircle them entirely, like the whole thing, once the other volunteers get back, because I have military access into your land, so
You can't
I
attack through
also.
neutral countries, even though you can move through my territory, but you can't attack out of it.
That makes sense.
I mean,
Oh,
I suppose you could try a naval landing at Matamoros, and if you succeed, you could always like then pull back into Texas if you were getting clobbered in a counterattack. But yeah, it's
true,
not.
because I could just move into your land and then just, go back and forth.
Well, you can't move into a state you don't control from neutral territory. So if you did a naval invasion in Matamoros and you had divisions waiting in southern Texas, you could move them into Matamoros once you control Matamoros. You can do that. I wouldn't recommend it because a naval landing in Matamoros, your men are going to get slaughtered. You don't have any naval transport tech. Naval invasion landing penalties get reduced for each level of transport tech. Or the first level, I think, just lets you do naval landings with more than like 2 divisions. Troop convoy requirements and naval invasion capacity, the first tech, but the second one and the third both increase invasion defense, which is actually the breakthrough of the divisions doing the naval landing, so they don't get slaughtered on the shore. It calls it defense, but it means breakthrough. The game codes a lot of things as defense that are actually breakthrough. It's weird and confusing because sometimes defense means defense and sometimes it means breakthrough and defense, which is what it is in this case.
Funny thing, if the late game goes exactly how we play it out to, imagine just seeing like just a giant ass Mexico.
I mean, you can do that. That's literally the immersion of why you have focuses to. You realize your focus tree lets you conquer all the way to. You could try and attack Texas. It lets you take Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Colombia, Ecuador, Venezuela. You can try and seize the Panama Canal. It's a decision, so you don't have to do it. And I would just leave Panama in my control because I'll get plenty of value out of it, and it's not worth the political power, whatever it costs you. Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Puerto Rico. You can conquer everything but Brazil just via focus. In Brazil, you can still justify manually. You can literally unite everything south of the Texas border. You could turn that all into Mexico. I might join you in attacking Brazil and try and carve out a little puppet state along the coast somewhere, because communist puppet states, like a small puppet state, are very valuable.
Right now, my main goal is definitely take Brazil.
Brazil? I mean, that's a long-term goal. Your first goal is to take Central America, and then Colombia, and then Ecuador, Venezuela. I'll probably attack Venezuela via the Monroe Doctrine because they're fascist. I can attack Venezuela.
Because I don't plan on attacking Brazil immediately as soon as I take Colombia and get a border Brazil. I don't plan on doing that because Brazil could potentially crush me if I did that. So I plan on taking countries around Brazil before attacking.
I'll probably attack Venezuela and Peru myself via the Monroe Doctrine. That allows me to attack any country that's not democratic. I don't know if that switches to any country that's not communist once I switch ideologies, but I can use the Monroe Doctrine to attack Peru and Venezuela.
Hold on. I need to buy the
trains.
Train.
Pennsylvania class. I put them on sale for a discount. Yep. You can just buy all 8 of them. You currently need 7 trains, but it might switch to 8 if you get further from your. That will at least. I was gonna say you might want to put more than one factory in buying those so you get them quicker. It's gonna take a while to buy 8 trains with just one factory.
How exactly would I find that in Qui?
You know what? I'll sell you these trains, and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put some more trains in the market, and you can buy those because you probably need a little more than 8 in hindsight. I'm gonna put some more trains in the market, also on discount. 4 more.
America has good ass trains.
And these, so you see that deliveries, I would put it up to 2 factories. You actually only have 2 available because once it reassesses based on what you're buying the other trains with, and then click send, and that will, And now if you go over your construction tab. Yeah, if you go over, you can't buy anything more because you're out of factories. If you go over your construction tab.
Construction.
Yeah. Okay, well, you had 5 to buy stuff with, I guess, and you just put 3 on buying equipment. But, whoops. I had you building up industry in the Northeast, and that's the area that the warlord took control of. I think it interrupted whatever infrastructure you were working on. You'll have to continue that when.
Uh,
That's not a big deal, actually. He has a focus.
yeah, although, because the placement's random.
No, it's not. I forgot the warlord always takes control of those two states if he rises up. But he'll do industrial effort in construction or armament, so you get some extra build slots there if he lasts a little while. If you don't crush him immediately, but it's probably better to. You could let him live for a little while. It kind of depends how the Spanish Civil War is going and stuff. It looks like the anarchists are going to win the Spanish Civil War, to be honest, which, I mean, okay. That might happen.
What might happen?
The anarchists could win the Spanish Civil War. If they do win the Spanish Civil War, it'll be something to deal with later. But the Italians and the Poles will both win their civil wars, and they'll probably help Spain. So you don't have to rush this war, but it's probably better to seize the initiative and win quickly. The only thing is
putting volunteers in there. The Polish Peasant Union is okay. I don't think they need volunteers.
neither do the Italian communists. They've been pushing back the fascists this whole time. They've pretty much taken control of Sicily. In fact, they have taken control of Sicily, which means they're going to concentrate more divisions. It's only a matter of time until they take the entire north. I have a spy in Spain who's going to be weakening the nationalists a little bit. He's already weakened them. Their max entrenchment is already being reduced by his presence. And the problem is if Spain is to become communist, they really should take.
That is the first time I ever
saw them have such high communism support.
No, not high communism support. I mean, just about exact 50-50.
Yeah, that's really high communism, unusually high communism support. They must have taken the Popular Front at the beginning, or
no, because every time I always see for example, then I see all this, the main ruling popularities, and I've never seen just only two party popularities going after it.
So the thing is the Spanish Republic, to access a lot of their best industrial focuses, they need to take Soviet aid during the Civil War. And in fact, they need to get all the way down to Soviet recovery aid, which means they need Soviet industrial and technological aid. This requires that they're at peace with the Soviets. The Spanish Civil War hasn't ended, and the Soviet Union is still communist, so they can actually do it while the Soviets are in the middle of a civil war, I think.
Isn't Trotsky also communist?
Yes. So if the Civil War ends too quickly, they won't take the full Soviet aid. If they don't take all the Soviet aid focuses, they won't be able to access. If you look at the Spanish focus tree, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, if you click on Spain and click on their focuses, you can see their focus tree, unknown focus. And if you go down, see how there's that thing that says expand Soviet aid? It's got the hammer and sickle of the Soviet Union and a red star. It's below seize the gold reserves and reaffirm the Popular Front strategy. It's on the right side. The left side is the anarchist tree. The middle is the POUM kind of tree.
Right there. Expand Soviet aid.
At least the middle left is the POUM tree that can only really normally arises if the Soviet Union goes the right opposition tree. So they need to get the Soviet technological advancements and industrial aid before their civil war ends, so they can do Soviet recovery aid. The reason they want Soviet recovery aid is so they can provide for the people, i.e. provide food for the people. That's literally the full name of what the focus really is. The Soviets send food shipments to prevent a famine after the war, and then that lets them collectivize the industry, connect the country, enlarge their slipways, Soviet industry, and the 5-year plan. Those focuses are really critical to the Spanish actually having a decent economy after the war. Uh, it does make them a Soviet puppet, but that's, I mean, fine, I guess. Especially if
Yeah,
they're
I mean, as long as they're still helping.
there's a chance that they might go down a focus tree that has them rebel as a puppet, which actually gives them an even stronger economy, but they get crushed. Um, I can't say if they're going to remain a loyal puppet or not, but we need them to take the Soviet aid focuses so they'll have decent industry. They need decent industry because eventually they're going to end up at war with the Nazis, who might capitulate France. France is going communist, by the way. Um, so France and Italy are both trying to go communist.
Okay, yeah, so it's a complete domino effect because if France goes communist in time, then obviously if the Germans attack France, then France is going to team up with the Soviets and the Polish Peasant Union
That's the
and
idea. And
maybe
Spain.
communist Spain
If
if
Spain
they
is a communist puppet, it doesn't. They don't even have to be communist. They just have to be a Soviet puppet, even if they're democratic. They'll
yeah, so
automatically join the
basically
Soviet faction and go join their wars. So yeah, even if they
yeah,
don't have a faction,
and well obviously because it's France against Germany,
yeah.
you know the UK might want a part of that.
France may not
Even if
flip communist quickly enough to join the Soviet faction, but if the Soviets take collective security, then they'll form a mutual defense pact with France. By the way, for anyone on YouTube, historically, and for you, Core, as well, this is a little mini history lesson. Historically, the the Soviets did try to go collective security. That was the first thing they did, and they had this guy named Lidinov as their foreign minister. I'll actually switch. If you want to follow along with what I'm explaining, Core, if you go over the Soviet focus tree, you'll see they have the Comintern policy of collective and individual security. The game treats these as mutually exclusive. They're not. They were pursued sequentially historically. Historically, the Soviets went collective security. Maxim Leonov, who was a Jewish member of the Soviet administration, he was the foreign minister first. Jewish is important because he was very anti-Nazi because he recognized, the Nazis had plans to kill Jews. He was very suspicious of Hitler because he'd actually read a little bit of Mein Kampf, was aware of what he was dealing with. So he pursued anti-fascist policies and tried to form a defensive pact with France historically. In the game, there's a possibility that Poland gets added onto this and that the UK can join in sometimes in certain circumstances. Historically, he pursued it with not with Poland or the UK, but with France and Czechoslovakia, which if the Czechs try and go communist or look eastwards or something, there's ways they can do in the game as well. Um, the British didn't like this. It would have aligned France and Czechoslovakia in favor of the Soviets, so they submarined it. They intentionally tried to
oh
make sure
wait,
it failed.
by the way, question about the generals or like people in command and overall in general. Do they stay loyal to you during the Civil War? Like, do some of them get transferred to the junta?
Yeah, they
Still have
can.
all
It depends on the Civil War. I'm pretty sure the junta just has one general, who is like the warlord himself. But he can recruit more out of his junior officer corps, and he will. Or if the war goes on long enough, he'll recruit new generals. But yeah, I'm pretty sure only one or two
I mean, like he
generals
can't
defected.
take my generals, right?
When the Civil War
Like, he,
breaks out, they can. The other side can end up with some of your who were previously your generals. I actually saw this in my single player German communist run where I had two civil wars. The first against Hitler, and almost all my generals stayed loyal. But in the second civil war, I lost most of my best generals to the other side. It's dependent on a variety of the pre-programmed civil wars. Usually keep you in charge of most of your officer corps. Like this one against the warlord, where he always starts in charge of these two states. You usually keep your generals. The first German Civil War, usually keep your generals now. But ones that are just based on the relative support for each ideology, like the Second German Civil War, or like the random civil wars miners can achieve, or some of the other ones in the game, you can lose generals, and the chance of losing each general is proportional to the ideology support of each side. It does seem that fascist support didn't really play into this civil war, but it will play into the Second Cristero Rebellion if you encounter that. Core?
Yeah.
If the Catholics rise up, that I'm pretty sure is a procedural civil war, unlike this warlord. They could start with any state in the country instead of it being certain ones, and the percentage of people they keep, it's like either fascist or non-aligned. I think if you're a democracy, if you're non-aligned, they're fascist, and if you're any other ideology, they're non-aligned. And it's based on support for those ideologies, how many will defect to the Cristeros. But I'm not sure. I've seen the Cristero Rebellion happen, but I've never actually watched the AI experience it closely enough to know exactly which ideology it's drawing from, or if it is a procedural civil war, it could be that it's actually specific states as well. Usually ones that are specific states, though, will lead to like cleanly drawn borders, like in this one, whereas random ones will have like Baja joins this side, Yucatan joins them as well, and everything in the center, it'll be like pockets that don't even connect with each other that get cut off right from the beginning when you have random civil wars a lot of the time. And I think that's what the Cristero Rebellion looks like. So if that happens, yeah. Anyhow, you should probably get started on just watching the divisions move, and I would make sure they're all in strategic redeployment.
Awesome. Oh yeah, let me stop them from exercising.
Yeah, definitely stop the exercises. That's good. I didn't catch that little detail, and it's good that you caught it. And if you select the divisions, like the general, it'll say.
They're all still in strategic
Oh, so
redeployment.
then I'll just unpause it, and hopefully they'll stay in strategic. Sometimes they'll randomly switch to marching, and they need to take the trains. It's the only way they can get there in time.
I'm holding my finger over B, but so they do stop strategically redeploying.
Yeah, if they do, they usually stop 1 hour after it's unpaused. So I'll take it forward an hour. Are they still strategically redeploying?
Yep.
Okay, then you're probably safe. I'll get some music going here for myself.
See if they move into one province.
And I'm just spreading out some guys along the border.
Yep, I know I'm at war game. But basically, you already did everything, so I kind of just have to watch.
I mean, I got the pre-deployment. That thing is... Figuring out where to put your divisions after a civil war is probably my single least favorite thing in this game. Like, you have to do everything instantly, and you have to deal with crises that instantly evolve. It's a hassle, at least in the Spanish Civil War, which I've played Spain, so I know a lot about how that plays out. Your divisions usually start, and some of them on the border, and it's a little better. But here, like, all your divisions are down the Yucatan Peninsula on the Guatemalan border, so you have to rush them all back north. I guess I could have, if I'd remembered that they had those two states earlier, I could have said put them in Mexico City and Durango, and they would have been in position already. But you live and you learn, right?
Yeah. It looks like they're still rebuilding. Yeah, it looks like they're already trying to move through my land almost immediately. Alright, my guys are still in strategic redeployment. Once I get there, it should play out how we planned it. Yep, they're going to those two spots. Seeing green arrows now. So, good.
By the way, one thing, I'm just gonna give you a heads up on this because I might forget myself. When you get
Yeah.
35 army experience, you might want to grab quick improvisation. It'll make your planning faster and increase your command power income. It'll also allow you to do stuff like last stand and force
Yeah.
attack cheaper if you need to do it. So,
Yeah.
just a heads up because you're gonna get army experience
Here
fairly
we
quickly from combat here.
War started. There appears to be 5 people at one front.
They intercepted them when they were marching north. They were on the trains, but they were passing through that particular province when they got attacked. So, once they defeat the attacking division, they'll continue moving northwest. Though there's a possibility that might cost you a few provinces in the north. You may have to redraw some of those front lines.
Oh yeah, we withdraw some of the front lines.
You may have to redraw, I was saying. You see what happens.
Well, if I go here. Oh wait, hold on. Can I give this guy a new trait now? The field marshal. I have 19 command power.
Yeah, you might want to do it just to make sure that the Civil War goes smoothly. I mean, yeah, the other alternative would be to save up to promote a field marshal for sending volunteers to those Civil Wars. But yeah, I'd probably just, in the long run, this will mean that he won't have a trait when he gains the ability to earn other traits, but this will help ensure that you win the Civil War quick. And you might want to do a second Civil War to turn communist or something. You never know. Yeah, you could have the pleasure of experiencing, I'm not kidding, 4 Civil Wars as Mexico. That's possible. If you could potentially suffer the Second Mexican Revolution if you piss off the atheists.
Should I put him back in strategic redeployment?
Who?
It doesn't say they're on trains now. It says they're just walking.
It depends which divisions. The ones that are just there, these guys. So if I would set the guys who are in Agua, well, I wouldn't put them all on strategic redeployment, but you see the 5 divisions that are in Agua, or in the ones who are in Leon, I would select just some of the divisions. Because some of your divisions are elsewhere. I would put those guys on strategic redeployment. Those 4 who are moving through there, I'd press B on them. And then the guys who are in Leon as well. They're also trying to.
It looks like 5 guys are going over.
Yeah, I would put those in strategic redeploy as well. Yeah, just hit B. Now, as for down in the southeast, you notice they just took a state in the southeast.
Oh yeah, right there.
No, that's in the northwest. In the southeast.
Oh yeah.
So you have divisions in Mexico City and in the jungles there, who were gonna. The plan was for them to. I figured they would take that state, and you need to counterattack north. So if you select those guys in Mexican City, instead of having to march all the way around, because the game is kind of confused, I would just tell them to march straight into that province and attack immediately. It's plains, and also the other 2 in the jungles. That will attack them from 3 sides with overwhelming force, and they should lose. You may want to also, if you look in the northwest, and unselect those guys so you don't accidentally do weird stuff where you up here, you probably the moment they took that province, it redrew the front line, extended it in a not great way. You may want to drag it back to the bottom right. You may want to control right click the front there.
Control right.
And then open the edit thing. The edit, it's next to the trash can. and drag that down a couple provinces because it redrew it 2 to the north, and right now you're going to have a ton of men in Chihuahua and no one further south. So the way you do that is you select the top end of the front at the very far north. See the little the handle, the little thing that looks like a stone? No, that's the fallback line to the right of that. Of the front line, that thing. The squiggly thing. You see at the far north on the Texas border? North, the Texas border. That.
Oh, that?
Yeah, and if you right click it and then drag it down a couple provinces, because right now that it's trying to cover Chihuahua with that, and they already drew the fallback line for Chihuahua, and then another one because that desert, there's no point in trying to hold it. It's not worth anything. It's just it gives you some barrier room, and if you unrelease now, because those guys are supposed to defend those provinces and prepare to push.
Okay, so yeah, Chihuahua's injuries is worthless, and whatever that
Well,
is.
no, you're defending Chihuahua, but there's no reason to defend the desert next to Chihuahua. There's no one who lives in that desert. It's like it's empty land. You defend the cities and the defensive terrain, but there's no reason to defend completely empty land. You know, that's not how you win a war. There's an apocryphal statement accredited to Mao in this game who will show up in the loading screens. Something like, lose land, keep men, both land and men. I mean, land can be retaken. Lose men, you will lose both, or something like that. I forget the exact wording, and Mao never actually said that, but the idea is accurate, and probably accurate to Mao's way of fighting. If you defend empty land for no reason and lose a bunch of men, you'll lose the war. If you focus on defending things that actually matter, like the towns and the rivers and the mountain like chokeholds, you win the war. So yeah.
So it really completely matters on terrain. Just about.
Terrain.
So it majority of wars are won by the terrain you take.
Well, back in this period, terrain is less influential today because you have like drones and there's a lot more emphasis in air power, and air power cares less about terrain. Although forest still provides some cover against air power, and I mean, famously, the Vietnamese jungles provided so much cover that the United States decided they were just going to drop napalm and burn whole jungles and villages in the middle of the jungle to the ground, which was a war crime, but the U.S. never ever gets held to account for its war crimes because we're the most powerful country in the world. So that's the evil of being a giant empire that no one can hold to account, is all sorts of horrendous things like that happen. But Agent Orange was dropped on the jungles specifically because you couldn't see anything in the jungles. But jungles are still good cover against air support. But mountains don't matter as much as they used to thanks to air power. And certainly hills are a lot less important than they used to be. That being said, I spent some time in RC. I can tell you, you still train to defend high ground and stuff like that. It doesn't not matter. It just matters less. It doesn't cease to matter. It just
the nation of Poland was annexed.
Yep, Polish Civil War is over. The Polish Peasant Union has won. I don't know what focuses they completed, but I suspect they didn't raise the Black Madonna in time, so they are forced to go communist. If they'd raised the Black Madonna, there was a chance they could have gone democratic instead. But the Black Madonna gives them war support, so it would have been good if they took that and then still went communist. But the AI doesn't know to do things like that. It's not very smart.
Very good. We could do unpause.
Yep. I'm sitting at 9% war support myself, even less than Core is dealing with.
Okay, well, they that province and that province.
let's see. They took the deserts east of Chihuahua. I figured those would be a sacrifice zone anyhow. But they did take that railway junction. That's going to be a problem. It's both a supply hub and it interrupts the divisions that were headed. Looks like you got some divisions already next to that area, so you may be able to organize an attack in reasonable time. You're already fighting a battle, though. You're under attack to the south of it with your divisions who are marching in. So for now, see those guys who are marching north who they suddenly turned red?
Which guys?
The ones who are southeast
Okay.
of Durango, those if you select just those divisions, yeah. Because you're also selecting the other. So just those. And then unselect the 1st Brigade because they're already digging in. And there's no reason to move them. Well, no, use shift click to unselect just those guys. If you just right click where the battle is, because otherwise they'll try and, yeah, and then they'll march there, and they may or may not, if you zoom out a little bit and unselect those guys, and control right click the fallback line by Chihuahua.
Control.
Yeah, as I don't know which of the divisions are the ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get there in time. I would just delete the fallback line. You're not going to be able to get there because they took the railway junction before they could ride the trains there. You're going to have to... I would just right-click where that battle's going on because they're going to try and march all the way up to Chihuahua otherwise. And basically, you're just going to have to push them off that railway junction in reasonable time and then try and retake. They'll probably take Chihuahua before you can get to it, which might have a factory and some oil. It's worth a little bit. Chihuahua is not a sacrifice area. The town isn't. The battle looks red, but as reinforcements arrive, it'll turn green. And then you'll just... nothing more you can do there for now, but if you go look at the south, how's that attack going? Near Mexico City.
Going very good, actually. They're about to be taken out, and they have no organization to expand, so they're on a defense.
Well, if you unselect the divisions that you got selected so you don't accidentally send them in south again, so escape, and you click on the battle itself. Because that always gives you good information. Oh yeah, they're massively outgunned.
2 days.
They're probably suffering crits too. So yeah, they'll go in no time.
Oh yes, 7 piercing right there, 4 pierce, 1 pierce, yeah.
And Antonio Villa is, he's a level 1 general? I'm not sure if he was one of your generals before, or if it's one that got generated randomly, or if... Oh, Field Marshal. He's probably the warlord himself, Antonio Villa. He's only level 1. I thought he would have more skill than that. Or maybe
probably because he literally just got recruited by, well, Khalees.
Well, he wouldn't have had the command power to recruit someone new just yet. He would have needed...
Not to do it.
Yeah, he would have needed at least 5 command power to recruit a new general, so... If he didn't have anyone else. So he probably... This guy was generated when the Civil War started. He probably has some guys who are historically his underlings. Instead of stealing your generals, he got ones that were generated out of thin air.
Yeah, and I can recover quickly because I have a lot more manpower than, well, they do.
I mean, eventually, manpower is based in land, so,
Hold up, I just got Spain's loyalist complete. Okay, so next is obviously, like you said, rural infrastructure. Rural infrastructure, right? If I'm correct. Yeah. rural infrastructure.
So yeah, manpower is based in land, and I probably should have done medium lobbying effort because either way I was Um, and so as you lose victory points, you lose manpower because like Chihuahua has only 27 people haven't been recruited, 15 there. I forget that the game tends to recruit from outlying areas first in case you lose them. Like you have 32,000 people. If you lost Mexico City, you would no longer be able to recruit. Ooh. Austria breaks the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye. I have a decision. Without any warning whatsoever, we've informed the federal state of Austria will no longer abide by the treaty, with all that entails. Most importantly, this means they will now rearm freely with no regard for limitations that were set upon them after the Great War. We can't stop them, but we can slow them down.
These guys keep on going off. Strategic redeployment.
Can embargo Austria. Yeah, that's only going to make it easier for the Germans.
Okay, yeah, they're going there.
What were you saying? Oh yeah, you've got ships anchored off the coast, so when you fight any battles that are adjacent to the sea, they will. You don't. Why are you putting them on strike force? That's an entirely different thing. They're currently anchored. So shore bombardment works best when you just anchor divisions without ships without a mission like that. You could also occasionally naval invasion support when you're doing shore landings, but in terms of helping ground combat, they're in the right place. You don't need to do anything with them. The way I did that was a control right click the sea province, and that just anchors them there, and they'll just sit there until they're given other orders. It doesn't cost any fuel, and because they're just anchored, and they'll use their guns, their heavy guns especially. They don't have much, so they'll only provide a minor buff, but they will provide what they can.
We're also about to take this province back. They're retreating. It's still a defense. It's still a complete defense right here.
If you take a look a little further northwest to see what's going on there, where like up towards Trotskyite, yeah, you have reinforcements have not yet arrived there.
I think they're about to.
They might. It's entirely possible that the battle will be over before the reinforcements arrive, in which case it might start a new battle. Or if the enemy moves into the state before, the province before the reinforcements, it might start an offensive battle to push them back out. You'll have to keep an eye on that and see what happens. Anyhow, on pause again. I'm trying to recruit the Ware group. Those on YouTube. This gives me 3 advisors, all of whom cost no political power to recruit. I can only really do 2 since I roll Bowder, but...
Alright, so, well, my guys just arrived and they stopped attacking. And those guys are going right for Chihuahua.
Those guys are headed north. If you look in the south, you see how when you took the province, it screwed up the front lines. Like now it expanded both front lines. East of Lyon, if you look, you see how there's now both the 2 microfronts overlap.
Yeah.
If you control right click the one near Mexico City on the left, with 5 divisions assigned. If you control right click that one. Because that's the one to like hold further west. And then you move to edit. And grab that handle on the right and just drag it over a province so that they won't try and... that just escape or release right now. That's you want to grab the front, not the. That's the front. That's the offensive order it tried to drag. So if you, yeah, that's the thing you want to edit.
And just move it over.
No, you need to select the handle. It's really finicky. I hate when it does this. Well, that's for the other one, which is in the right place.
This.
Yeah, you need to select the handle. You see the little thing that looks like a circle? That's the only place you can edit a front from. So if you right-click and drag to edit this line, and then drag it left one, you'll see. You always have to drag the handles when you want to move a front line. And if you release, you'll see now it doesn't extend as far. That's because, yeah, you don't necessarily want the offensive arrows. You probably have to redraw as well. If you click delete on the thing there, because it's just a mess at this point. Yeah, just left-click it. And then the other one that's also hashed, because no divisions were assigned to any of them anyways.
This one?
Yep. Just left-click. Then when the divisions get to the front, you'll be able to redraw offensive lines to figure out how to encircle them. But right now, well, that was all. The guys in the jungle to the right, they have to just get into place before.
Well, as we were planning before, encircle this, but don't take it. And then we just go straight up.
Yeah, you have 3 divisions in Aguasta, whatever, that will be able to eventually push northeast. That includes a proper division, so it's just a matter of them organizing, planning and stuff, and getting more rifles. But in the east, you're going to need to march into that jungle, and you're going to need the divisions. They're still marching north. If you look at, see that got division over. You got that guy, but also if you look further south, those 3 divisions are still marching into place. So, oh yeah. See that, the one that's along the coast there. If you left-click that guy, yeah, you probably actually want him to. Oh, he's almost in place. I guess that'll be fine. I was gonna say you probably want him to move to the jungle, but he's almost finished moving into that plane. So what you probably want to do is then hold shift, and then right-click the jungle to the east, so that once he gets there, he'll move into the jungle. That'll actually be quicker than if you give him a new order. Yeah. Alright, I got some kind of message. For some reason, the Manchurians are trying to provoke me. The delegation from the Imperial Kuantan territories is walked out of negotiations. What negotiations? Saying complete refusal to acknowledge the political and strategic realities. With the foreign policy goal of armament control evidently in shambles, many observers wonder how much longer other parties. This must have something to do with the London Naval Treaty. I think the Imperial Kuantan territories just withdrew from it or something. I don't know what's going on. Something weird just happened. But yeah, Manchuria is doing fascist Manchuria things, so boo. I have no idea what they're doing or why. Huh? Oh, your general fell ill.
That's fine, but all my volunteer forces have arrived.
Yeah. So did the other guys. Which general fell ill? If you click on the portraits, it must be one of the guys who's currently either just moving back or the guy who just got. It's probably the general in charge of the 16 divisions if you left-click him. You won't be able to tell just by hovering over. If you if you select the oh, it's that guy. Okay, yeah, he fell ill while returning from wherever he was, Spain, I guess. So you just merged him into the guy who's in charge of 16 anyhow, I guess. Like, he's not, while he's ill, he's not going to be good at leading men, and there's no reason not to have them all under one guy so he can level up faster anyhow. Unless one of those other generals is, well, they're still returning from the front, so if you click them, like if you click 4th Army, yeah, and the other one, neither of them are probably as, I don't know what traits Hernando has there, but he seems to have better stats at least.
So just reassign everyone?
Yeah, you can all merge it into that one. Yeah, because he's got good stats. Hernando there. I don't know what his traits are. If you click on the little thing below his portrait, it'll tell you like what he has, like if he's a harsh leader or if he's a brilliant strategist. You see the portrait? No, you see the portrait with that one. If you click the little thing that looks like a figurehead in the bottom left, he's an infantry officer. No other traits. Okay, yeah, so he's in charge of a bunch of infantry, so I guess that's not terrible. He'll become an infantry leader before long.
Yeah.
And they took Chihuahua, by the way.
It's fine.
Wait, wasn't that where you were building industry? Or where? What's going on with your construction queue? I thought you were doing, oh no, the Veracruz, which is, okay. Yeah.
Veracruz right there.
Yeah, you're building at Veracruz. Okay, I was like, did they just interrupt your industry? No, they didn't. As long as you remain in control of Veracruz and Puebla. Puebla is actually the one that controls that state. You're fine.
They have
Okay.
no orders assigned. Should I
Hindenburg
activate
did not.
battle plans?
What?
Should I activate battle plans?
I mean, no. Your people are still getting in position, and that's just, you can always manually order them to attack, and it's fine. Oh yeah, those guys who are stationary northeast of Durango, if you select those 6 divisions that are northeast of Durango in the northwest, entirely different divisions up there.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't assigned to any front line. You can assign them to the front that they're currently standing on. If you just control left click the front, just control left click, and now they're assigned, and they'll start getting planning bonuses. And the guys who just arrived back, volunteers, some of your best divisions. You have to figure out where they're going. I would suggest using them to push in the south here because it's closer.
One of them's going there. One of them's going there, and one of them's going there.
I guess that's sort of alright.
One right there.
But I would suggest pushing up the coast, like doing that quick, prioritizing that over everything else, because that's how you're going to win the war before they move too far from Chihuahua.
Push up through here.
I mean, yeah. But the way to get these guys on that is I would hit the little minus arrow next to the edit button, so they unassign them from wherever they're assigned, because it's probably not the right one. And then I would tell them all to march to those plains north of Mexico City, right there. Just right click there. And they'll all go there, and once they're there, then you can assign them to the front. They'll gain planning, and you can use it to... do you know anything about bite? I think it's called, well, I don't know, bite and hold, but what you can do to prevent that division in San Luis from attacking east if you take the jungle is you can attack them with another division just to keep them in place once you're ready to push north. or to force them into 2 combats at once. It's just something to think about. Anyways, on pause again. But yeah, you win the war by taking his victory points. He might control Chihuahua, but I don't even know if they're advancing beyond Chihuahua because they don't really have a way to...
I put them on strategic redeployment, so they're already there at,
Well, I mean, okay. Yeah, I would assign him to the front line then. Just control left click the front where they are already in place here.
Right there?
Yep.
Alright.
And I mean, tomorrow some of them will probably start moving east. Actually, you can prevent that by breaking that into 2 micro fronts. It may seem, but so if you click that division in the jungle, and you don't actually have any offensive line here anyhow.
I don't really think it matters.
Well, they won't gain planning bonuses without having an offensive plan. So what I was going to say is, you see over there, so if you take that guy in the jungle, they only gain planning if they're stationary at midnight when the 24 turns to 1. If you edit the front line and just drag it left 1 from the sea, because otherwise 6 and 1, the AI will instantly try and send divisions east, and they won't get in planning because they're not stationary. So if you grab the handle on the far right side, the east side, and then drag it left 1, right click and drag it left, right, and then those, and then you can exit the edit thing, right, and I forget the hotkey for moving a division from a front line, but you're probably going to want to Control H. If you press Control H, it'll unassign that 1 division so they don't move. And then these 6 guys who are currently there, all 6 of them, you can select them, and you need to give them an offensive plan or they won't start gaining planning. I would suggest drawing some kind of offensive line up the coast there.
Yeah, like right up to here.
Yeah, maybe they try and go for Reynosa. Yeah, because that'll cut off anyone who's at the coastal area, and then you can just finish them off with the help of shore bombardment. So if you right click there, it'll draw an arrow up there, and then that 1 division who no longer has a front line, he won't gain planning unless you give him a front as well. The guy who's standing in the jungle there.
Yeah.
And you could just give him a microfront, so offensive line. You should be getting quicker at this after a little bit of practice here. So left click that, right click the province, then you just give him an arrow. Somebody's got to swing east after you march into the jungle, so maybe that mountain north of San Luis.
Yeah. So
you see the mountain north of San Luis? Someone's got to do that, and it.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Yeah, if you right click there, that he'll go there and cut the divisions off once you are able to attack from Agua as well, which is going to be tough because even though you have 3 divisions there, 2 of them are just brigades, you're actually really struggle to push into those mountains. You probably gonna, but there's nobody holding those jungles, so in a few hours after everyone's reorganized up a little, because their disorganized divisions move really slow, you can start marching up into the jungle with those guys in the east.
So just activate.
Well, that have them attack all on the front. I would just manually order them to move it in. You don't have to actually activate the plan to get the bonuses.
Okay.
Yep. You could have, well, yeah, you could leave the other guys in place until, how long will it take them to arrive, out of curiosity?
What guys?
The ones who are marching in the jungle. You only have 1 division selected. How long will it take them to arrive? 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could wait you could wait a day before sending in the other guys as well. Give those guys a head start. 3 days, 13 hours. Or you could
Yeah.
move the other guys so that you suddenly show up with 7 divisions on where they're not prepared. It's up to you. I might have the other guys move in as well. Those 6. Because that's a big force. You should be able to go deep into their territory. Like, you could probably go all the way to there fairly easily. That's 9 days of advance. You may have to pause and reorganize and replan a little, but if you see that jungle to the southeast along the coast there,
yeah,
if you send them there, that'll only take 4 days, so you could, or 6, you could probably send them there. If you just right click, and they'll try and get all the way there if no one stops them. Actually, I might have the cavalry swing east as well. Here's an easy way to do this and make sure they don't. So if you select just the cavalry division, and actually assign them to the other front, even the one that's swinging west.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, just control left click and it'll assign them to that. And then if you right click on the mountain, there. Oh shoot, it's trying to path through St. Luis. Well, if you click on the jungle, right click on the jungle and then right click and then shift and right click on the mountain. There, and that'll make them path that way. And the other guys who are in the jungle, if you click them, the ones on the coast, yep, they're already doing that. So those 2 divisions will cut off San Luis, or mostly cut off, while the rest of them can march all the way up the coast and make them sorry for crossing you. Right. Let's see.
Well, now that they're all kind of here now, should I activate battle plans?
No, they don't have full plan organization, most of them, and actually they do. Yeah, you could do it if you want it. You don't need to. You can manually micro it, but it won't hurt, I guess.
I mean, it's probably gonna get this done faster.
They're probably what?
Probably gonna get it done faster.
They're the planning? Not really. There's actually delays. Microing is actually the fastest way to make it
No, I
happen.
mean the war. Get the war done faster.
No, I'm saying if you manually micro them, you can actually make the war end faster in terms of game days. And once you get faster micro, you can manually. It won't take that much time. A lot of this is I'm just explaining. Yeah, without my telling you what to do, if you just, when you want a division attack somewhere, just right click on the province and they'll attack there. You don't always have to rely on the battle plans to make them attack. But yeah, if you left click, it'll start the plan. You didn't activate it yet.
What's happening out here? They gotta do from there over. Yeah, I don't have a choice because they're just gonna keep moving that way. I'm starting the battle plans. Gonna have to.
In a little bit, I'm going to put some cheap rifles up for sale that
Kingdom of Yugo. The battle plan's going well anyways, we're winning on all fronts.
Yep, the Austrians have formed the Danubian Federation already. I know they can do it in their democratic tree, but if they... Oh, they form it much sooner if they go Habsburg. It gets them the Austro-Hungarian joint focus tree.
Okay, well, one, why aren't you guys moving that way? It's supposed to be going up.
Yep, Austria is trying to reform the Austro-Hungarian Empire, interestingly, with Yugoslavia. They're both non-aligned. They're both taking their non-aligned trees, so it makes sense.
Oh, that's why they're doing that. We probably should have made a spearhead instead of an offensive line. Because they're trying to take San Luis.
Oh, yeah, well, just right... I mean, it does delay them from trying to go anywhere else, but I would just press H to call off the attack in San Luis with those 3 divisions, and then just right-click north, and they'll attack there instead. You can manually tell them what to do. You can always override the plans. Like I was saying, you don't have to rely on the AI to do it for you. They'll attack when I unpause again. Yeah, just... subs or... Yeah, submarine hunters.
You guys should be moving up even. You guys defending. Told you guys to stop. Why are you guys still going? Pause it. Hold on. They don't. How do you anchor them here?
Hold on a sec. I'm just cutting the YouTube recording, starting a new